Maybe not like the first date, but maybe the fourth date you take the kids with you or something.
Maybe, yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Don't be like fucking Pete Davidson and get your girlfriend's kids tattooed on you, because then she breaks up with you and you look like a clown.
Yeah. Before the divorce is even complete.
What a loser. People's priorities are different. You know, some people prioritize sex, some people prioritize sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But this single mom, she prioritizes sex, bro.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's also a dating coach, bro. She says, you know, she's had people call her a slut, a whore, and even go as far as to say she's an awful mother and social services should be called on her kids. The 27-year-old mother of two said, you know, but she says she's a single mom, but sex is her top priority. And she's also a dating coach. So she goes on TikTok and she gives advice to different people and, you know, kind of goes, you know, pretty much explains like her journey through dating as a single mom. I think she has a 5-year-old and 11-month-old.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah. And she's, you know, she's taking some heat, man. You know, she claimed women should be worried if a man has slept with over 1,000 women, saying it's normal. And she also said women should worry if a man's body count is less than 20, saying she would question what is wrong with him. She also disclosed her own body count, claiming it was around 60 or 70. And the TikTok star also caused controversy by saying men should always date younger women and that cheating with an escort is acceptable.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like she has this article, like it had the headline, right? Like, oh, sex is her top priority. You open it up and she has mad takes. I want to get her on the show.
These takes are crazy. Like over 1,000 women is normal for her. Does she know how many weeks are in a year? There's 52 weeks in a year. You know how many? Yo.
But you have to do the math because she actually has a calculation for dating. She says men should date women who are half their age plus 7. So she's 27. So I'm not sure what that would be for her. What is that? 40, right? It would be 40-year-olds she would date, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a 40-year-old, there's 52 weeks in the year. How many women do you know, 1,000 might be normal for a 40-year-old. I don't know. She's had 60 or 70. She has 2 kids. She's done calculations, so it seems like she's aware. But she says it's a red flag if someone had less than 20. And also she says it's fine. It's not cheating if a guy goes to an escort. Do you agree with any of these takes?
I mean, listen, I don't think that there's something wrong with somebody if they've had less than 20 sexual partners. I don't know. I think if it comes to paying for sex, that's personal preference. Everybody can have their own opinion on that. I don't think it's a right or wrong sort of thing. But I just think some of her numbers are a little crazy.
Yeah, 1,000 sounds a little bit much. But, you know, she's on TikTok. She's trying to get clicks. But, hey, it seems like she you know, lives by it. And I kind of agree with her a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's a little bit. I feel like she's just very honest and sensationalizing what she's saying. But
yeah,
obviously
she's exaggerating quite a bit.
But she's against slut shaming. So she is an open slut. Pretty much. She says people call her a slut and a whore, but she just likes sex. She doesn't see anything wrong with it. So I think if she's looking for someone who also is aligned with liking sex, then that's what she's looking for. I mean, but she is giving advice to other people. So I think that's that's where, you know, things get a little bit cloudy because I feel like her numbers don't really reflect reality. But I think she, you know, I think what she's saying actually makes a lot more sense than other people who kind of talk about relationships. I don't know.
I mean, sometimes I think that both sides are usually more extreme. When you have the people that talk about abstinence and things like that, they're pretty extreme with what they recommend. And then when you have people like her, it's like, oh yeah, fuck everybody. But then oddly enough, farther on, she talks about penis size and she's like, oh, does size matter? And usually you would think somebody that's had 60 to 70 partners, they're like, nah, I want a nice size penis. And she's like, no, actually, I want average or smaller. That's best for me. This is a woman for the people. I'm telling you right now.
For real. I mean, clearly she has an 11-month-old and she's single. Like, so clearly she's not. I wouldn't take advice from her. I'm sorry.
Listen, but she also said women don't need to orgasm for sex to be good.
Yo, she's right though. I mean, if that's her experience, then who can argue against that? She's saying she could give herself an orgasm, but the experience is more just of a whole thing of between a man and a woman, what she looks for, you know. And I get that. You know, sometimes you can have fun without, you know, finishing. Like, that's just her opinion. So I think she's being very honest, a little bit, you know, too sensationalized. She also says that she likes to bring her kids out on dates with her. So, I mean, to actually move forward with this woman, it seems like a lot, you know. But hey,
I mean, listen, I gotta say, the more I read this article and like. At first, it started off, and I was like, "Oh no, she's wilding. She's just saying shit for clickbait." But then some of the other stuff, I'm like, "This kind of makes sense the way that she was explaining it."
Yeah,
like,
she seems intelligent.
Yeah, she seems like she's thought things out. She has a different sort of lens that she's viewing the world through. Like she said, you know, if I go out on a date and I'm a single mom, sure, it's going to be a nice date. It's going to be a good time, but it's not what my reality is. So. Yeah, I take my kids on the date. If they're with me, they feel safe. I feel safe. They're secure. And it shows you what life is really going to be like with me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I really want to check out her TikTok. I want to get her on the live. Shout out to you. I wonder if she's found someone. And I wonder if she's helped people. But yeah, I think slut shaming is not cool. People live their lives, and yeah, clearly she's lived, and I would hate to be that child on a date with my mom. That's terrible. Like, could you imagine? That's almost as bad as being in the womb and being on porn, but no, it's not. That's way worse.
Yeah, that's much worse.
Pray for the kids, man. Pray for the kids. That's sad. Like, it's just awkward. I'm sorry. Like, bring your kid on a date. I don't think that's appropriate, because I would hate to be the kid in that situation. Like, some strange guy. Like, for what? How many guys are you going to introduce to your kid? There should be a boundary. You should actually have a vetting system. You know what I mean? Because now you're desensitizing your children to having a role model around. You know, it's just a little bit weird. But outside of that, I do respect her point of view. I don't agree with everything she said, but I agree with some of what she said.
I think that maybe the kids should be introduced earlier on in the relationship. I know a lot of women, because of those aspects of, like you're saying, building a relationship early on with the kids, it can mess them up if then suddenly that guy is no longer there and they like them or something. But it could be important. Maybe not like the first date, but maybe the fourth date where you take the kids with you or something.
Maybe, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. Don't be like fucking Pete Davidson and get your girlfriend's kids tattooed on you, because then she breaks up with you and you look like a clown.
Yeah, before the divorce is even complete.
Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify, follow on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok,
all the apps. We're everywhere. We are everywhere.